In today's tutorial, I'll be showing you how to draft and cut this long blouse or a mini dress with an uneven or asymmetric hemline and a square neckline. This is a stylish design that you can pair with your maxi skirts or palazzo pants, and it's perfect for beginners who want to try something new. So hello beautiful people. Welcome back to Easy Sewing with Taic, your go-to space for stylish, simple, and beginner-friendly sewing tutorials. And to my amazing returning subscribers, thank you for always being here. Your support means the world to me. And if you're new here, I am Taiwo, and I'm so glad that you stopped by. I promise that you'd love it here. So grab your pattern paper and let's get started. Looking at the style that we are recreating today, it has an half cut. That is, it is joined together at the waist. The upper part and lower part is joined together at the waist. But I'll be drafting both the upper part and the lower part together on this pattern paper before separating it. Starting off with the vertical measurement. So what I have there is the dress length or the top length, which is 31 inches. That line that I'm indicating there is the start point line or the shoulder line, followed by the chest line, which is 8.8 inches. The formula together will be showing on your screen. Then the half length, which is 16 inches, and the hip line, which is 25.5 inches. So that is all the vertical measurements that I'm working with today. I'll go ahead and make the lines more pronounced. But that waistline, I'll be using a black marker just to further emphasize on the fact that I'll be cutting through it. I'll be separating it later, like I said earlier, while the other lines I'll be using this blue marker to make it pronounced. After which I went ahead to label it. So we are starting with the upper part. That is why I'm focusing on the upper part first. Once we are done with the upper part, that is the shoulder to the waist, then we would move to the waist to the hem of the dress or the top. Now to the horizontal measurement. From the center front that way, I went ahead to measure out the shoulder measurement divided by 2. The shoulder measurement is 15.5. I measured out 7.75. I went ahead to replicate the same measurement on the chest line, and I connected the two together to form a straight line this way. After which I went ahead to impute the bust measurement on the chest line. The bust divided by 4. The bust that I was working with is 38 inches. So 38 inches divided by 4 is 9.5. While on the waistline, I went ahead to impute the waist measurement divided by 4. The waist measurement that we're working with is 30 inches, and 30 divided by 4 is 7.5. Moving on to drafting out the dart, and to do that I need to determine the apex of the dart. So you can work with the bust point line, or you can come down by 1.5 or 2 inches from the chest line, which I have done here. I actually used the bust point line, so I went ahead to indicate that with a dotted line. Now starting from that line, I went ahead to impute the bust span measurement divided by 2. The bust span in this case is 7 inches. 7 divided by 2 is 3.5. I measured that all the way to the waistline. On the waistline, I came out on both sides by half inches, and I connected it to the apex of the dart like this. Then I went ahead to replace that 1 inch that we've taken out for the dart. I added it to the measurement, okay, in order not to have shortage in the measurement. Then I finally connected it to the bust measurement. Moving on, the second dart that we will be taking in on this outfit is the bust dart. The one we just finished with is the waist dart, and to do that you have to get the difference between your front half length and the back half length, and in this case it is 1.5 inches, but I'll be working with 1 inch for this bust dart. The remaining half inch you will see when I will take it off. So from that bust point line, I came down by 1 inch and I connected it all the way to the bust span measurement. That is the bust dart that we have taken in. Alright. After which I moved on to draft the armhole curve. So I came down by 1 inch from the start point, that is for the shoulder slope. Then I came up by 2 inches from the chest line, and I went in by half inch. Afterwards, I connected the 3 points together like this. Then for the neckline, which is a square shaped neckline, the dimension that I worked with is 3.5 by 5 inches. That is, the wideness of this neckline is 3.5 inches on fold, while the depth is 5 inches. Then I connected it like this, after which I went ahead to mark out the shoulder slope. Now you can leave the front upper pattern like this. It's beautiful, but if you want your dart leg to go all the way into the neckline, you just extend your dart leg like this. Just extend it this way. Then this part is optional. If you want that bust area to be more pronounced, you want to have more structure around the bust area, you can give it a dart here too by coming out by 1 inch from that existing dart leg and connecting it to the bust point measurements this way. That is why I'm using a pencil for this. It's not part of this tutorial, it's just an additional for people that want that bust area to be more pronounced. But when you do this, you have to replace that 1 inch at the sides. Okay, that 1 inch that we went out by from the neck area, you have to replace it at the sides in order not to have shortage in your measurements. And to do that, you just want to measure 1 inch this way, connect it all the way to the chest line. Afterwards, you go ahead and add your sewing allowance to the bust measurement. Don't add 1 inch to your bust measurement, to just add your sewing allowance to it, and you can connect it and give it your new armhole curve. Like I said, this is optional. Okay, it's just an additional information for people that might want to make the bust area more structured. And that's that about the front upper part. Now we'll be adjusting this pattern in order to use it to draft out the back, and the only alteration we need to do here is the armhole, the neckline, adjust the length of the back, then eliminate zipper bulge. And to eliminate zipper bulge, come in by ½ inch from the center back that way, but that ½ inch you have to replace it at the side this way. Then come up by ½ inch. Remember that ½ inch that was left when we subtracted the back half length from the front half length. Exactly, come up by that ½ inch from the center back and slant it all the way to the dart leg this way. And to alter the back armhole, you just want to divide what you have there into two equal parts and just connect it. So all this part that I'm using this red marker for at the part that we are cutting out for the back. So if I'm to transfer this pattern to my fabric now, I'm going to use it to cut out the back first, then I will now cut off all this extra that I'm adding and use it to cut out the front. But if you know you might be confused, then draft out your back pattern on a fresh paper. Okay, on a fresh pattern paper. So I'm going ahead to add ½ inch to the shoulder slope for the shoulder joining, and for the back neckline I worked with 3.5 by 2 inches. I worked with a U-shaped or a round neckline. Okay, and that is it. I've successfully drafted both the front and the back upper bodice, and all this part that I'm tracing out with the pencil is where I'm going to cut out for the back first. Once I'm done using this pattern to cut out the back, I'll go ahead and eliminate them, then use it to cut out the front. Moving on to the lower part, on that hip line, remember I said that is my hip line, I went ahead to impute the hip measurement divided by 4. The hip measurement that I'm working with is 40. 40 divided by 4 is 10 inches. And I went ahead to impute the same measurement on the hem. So I connected it to the waist measurement this way. Remember that that place is the original waist measurement before I added the dart allowance extra. So this lower part is not going to have a dart, and that is why I'm working with the original waistline. By the time I cut out this pattern and I close off the waistline, you will see that everything will align. So if you are not adding waist to your lower part, then work with your original waist measurement divided by 4. So I'm just going to go ahead and connect it this way. Now to the main design on this dress or top. This is how you want to do it. you can go ahead and measure out 5 inches or 5.5 inches depending on how wide you want that cutout to be, but I worked with 5 inches. Then come up by 1 inch from the hip line. Okay, come up by 1 inch from the hip line. Then from that point you just want to curve it this way. Just follow through with what you can see on the screen. You just want to curve it out this way. Then measure out half inch only. All right, now determine how low you want it to be at the sides. So if you want it to be short, you can work with 5 inches, but if you want it a bit longer like this, you can work with 7 inches, or just come up by 2 or 3 inches from your hip line. Once you have located your desired point, then just like we did earlier, you just want to give it a curve too from that point to the half-inch mark that we came out by just now. Again, follow through with what you can see on the screen. And now that I'm satisfied with the curve and everything that I have going on here, I went ahead to make it more pronounced using the marker. So it's better to cut this part out square shaped this way, but when you are sewing you can now make it curvy. Okay, then for the lower part waistline, you want to come down by half-inch at the center front as well, then slant it all the way to the sides. So you'll be adding half-inch to this part. Remember, we are cutting through. You'll be adding sewing allowance to the side. For the upper part too, you'll be adding half-inch to the lower part here, and you'll be adding sewing allowance to the side. All around that curve as well, you'll be adding half-inch all around. Okay, when you are transferring to your fabric. And to cut the lower part of the back is easy. You just want to use the same pattern and just add your zipper allowance. Just add your zipper allowance, either 1 inch or 1.5 inches. Okay, add zipper allowance when you are using this pattern to cut out the back. Here's this same style that I drafted earlier, but this one does not have an half cut. Okay, I'm using the same pattern for the front and for the back. And also this one has a dart extending from the upper bodice down to the lower part. So when you want to use this to cut out the back, make sure that you reduce the length by 1 inch. Remember that the front half length and the back half length is different. The back half length is shorter. So don't forget to do this. Okay, fold it, don't cut it out, because you still need this pattern to cut out the front like I explained earlier. Okay, so if you want your dart sewing to extend all the way to the neckline, just cut it out this way and add half inch all around like so. So I've gone ahead to close out the both darts, and this is what I have when I joined my pattern together using a glue. And this is what I have at the end of the day. You can see that the waistline is aligning and matching up, and that is because I have closed the waist dart. Again, make sure you add your allowance to this part to join it and sew it when you are transferring to your fabric. And one last thing, this pattern that I'm indicating on the screen, you can go ahead and add half-inch to it, okay, in order to make that place a little bit exaggerated, and importantly so that it can accommodate the gathered skirt that you'll be wearing under it. And as you can see from the style inspiration, that place is not fitted, it's a bit free. And that's it for today. With this pattern, you're one step away from rocking this beautiful two-piece set. So I hope you enjoyed drafting along with me. If you did, please give this video a like, share with your friends, and subscribe for more beginner friendly tutorials. Remember, sewing is a journey. Take it one stitch at a time and you'll be amazed at what you can create. See you in the next tutorial. Bye.